Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today is a double episode day. Yes, indeed, a few days ago I reached 1100. That, of course, means another double episode. Of course, I couldn't do it because I was off visiting, so I have to do it now. I hope you don't mind. And yes, indeed, it's going to be another game on Langres. People have been asking me for Panzer Elite games for 1 vs 1, and this one I've got. Sadly, the reason I don't tend to cast a lot of 1 vs 1 Panzer Elite games is because the Panzer Elite players tend to be incredibly dull and predictable. I mean, there's not much to tell about that when they basically just go for the same sort of thing. So, of course, I can cast it occasionally, but at the same time, I mean, it just pretty much becomes the same thing over and over and over again, without fail. That's rather the problem. And of course, what I'd rather try to sort of hope and encourage we might see something else, but sadly that's rarely what I get to see. But nonetheless, a 1 vs 1 on Langres, and yes indeed, one of the sides will be Panzer Elite. It shall be Lehritis fighting in the southern corner as the reconnaissance elements of the 116th Panzer Division. Opposing them shall be Mikeratty. Yes, indeed, of the 5th Infantry Division, and let us get right down to the action. Starting out right nicely, Kettenkrad not moving. Might want to be an idea to move. There we go. Panzergrenadiers on the way from the headquarters. Barracks going up for Mikeratty. Kettenkrad going straight for the fuel. So far, nothing highly exciting, as I've sort of pointed out. And there we go, first Panzergrenadier team ready. A bit slow in getting them moving about. I can't help but feel, but of course we'll have to see what he does with them. Kettenkrad heading westwards, perhaps hoping to secure the territories right there, while the Panzergrenadiers themselves are heading eastwards. Will they be seizing territory, or will they be going straight for the throat of the Americans? Hoping to lodge a jackboot down it and then fire off a rifle in the head. Who knows? Engineers going either side. Riflemen on the way from the barracks. I wait. You could be a jeep, of course. One never knows. We've certainly seen a few more jeep starts lately, so I wouldn't be completely surprised. But again, could probably just as well be riflemen. Not as much else that can come out of that barracks. And there we go. Riflemen with the M1 Garands and the M1 Carbine moving out. Panzergrenadiers in these with their Gewehr 43s and their own Kar-98Ks. Panzergrenadiers spotting the engineers and opening up. Rather aggressive approach right from the beginning, hoping to harass his opponents' seizing of territory, thus denying them some fuel right away. Good move, rather aggressive. Not bad. And a second Kettenkrad on the way from the headquarters, ready to seize territory in the name of the fatherland. First engagement between the Panzergrenadiers and the riflemen. Panzergrenadiers caught out in the open, riflemen taking up position, and apparently these other Panzergrenadiers are not doing anything, but there we go, moving in. Panzergrenadiers running towards the house, hoping to gain safety from the riflemen, or at least some safety. Riflemen standing out in the open versus the Panzergrenadier in the house, taking up position so they can avoid the other ones, but still not the entirely best position to be standing out in the open versus troops inside a building, in particular not Panzergrenadiers. As you might be noticing, the riflemen are taking rather severe losses, whereas the Panzergrenadiers are doing actually pretty alright. Another rifleman down, another could probably be going down in seconds, all evacuating it seems. Rushing after the rifleman with a vengeance. Further riflemen arriving from the west, and there we go, rifleman on the retreat. Down to 2 men, awfully wounded. Rifleman might not make it, but there we go. And the other team sort of pulling out, rather realizing all those Panzergrenadiers are a bit of a threat. Going for defensive operations, 3 Panzergrenadier teams as of yet, and 2 Kettenkrads. And Kettenkrad coming out of fire from the engineer. The western Kettenkrad is. The engineers are continuing their search for resources in the west, while the Panzergrenadiers are on the move to put a stop to all that nonsense. Some of them are awfully wounded. Might want to retreat once defensive operations are up. They could easily be taken down.
Defensive operations have been upgraded.
Kettenkrad getting shut up, and engineers themselves getting slaughtered. Kettenkrad going after the strategic point, but then going back towards it after having left it due to the threat of the engineers, the ever-looming, the ever-present engineers. And there we go, Panzergrenadiers on the hunt for the engineers themselves. Looks like all of the Panzergrenadiers are in fact converging on these 3 poor lonely engineers. Although interestingly enough, there's none actually trying to cut off the path right here, perhaps trying to catch the engineers. A bit more novel. Riflemen all heading towards west now, perhaps trying to catch those Panzergrenadiers out in the open themselves. Nothing further from the bags. Perhaps some additional engineers seem to be ready now. There we go, further riflemen. 3 teams of riflemen versus 3 teams of Panzergrenadiers. How will they be engaging? Small fighting here. Riflemen coming out a bit of fire. Interestingly enough, there's no attempt to actually use this building. There we go, first team of Panzergrenadiers retreating. Riflemen converging on one team of Panzergrenadiers, cutting them down if possible. And they make it out of there reasonably well, although 2 men down. Further Panzergrenadiers have arrived to the fight. 4 teams as of yet. Riflemen on the move, not moving in to put a stop to those last ones. Engineers trying to do a bit of harassment. And a Kettenkrad harassing the fuel in the east. Continually advancing. This Lehritis is really putting on the pressure. Riflemen, of course, trying to do their best to seize some territory on their own, even going for the strategic cutoff point.
The Yankees are grabbing our territory.
Very nasty Lehritis. Not very friendly, that is. And the Kettenkrad could get shut up. Grease guns firing away, but the Kettenkrad makes a dash for victory, for safety. And apparently succeeds. The riflemen otherwise are sort of hanging about, not entirely sure what to do, a bit cautious. Kettenkrad in the east taking back. I mean, there's mostly, in fact, just harassment going on. And we are seeing a logistic company going up. This would rather sadly indicate that he's just going for the sort of usual, well, let's get a lot of Panzergrenadiers. Yes, 5 Panzergrenadier teams now, and then let's say don't get the Panzer Command and armored cars. Of course, I could be wrong, but I'm not. I know what's going to happen. Sadly, it would have been nice to see some sort of, I don't know, use of, actual Panzer Elite tactics, this sort of thing that fits the Panzergrenadiers, armored half-tracks, that sort of thing. But sadly, you can't have everything. Kettenkrad securing this point here, right from them trying to re-secure this fuel point.
Infantry section ready to move out.
Panzergrenadiers hooking left, trying to retake what they can there. And this Kettenkrad is still on the move, riflemen moving southwards. Browning automatic rifles have been equipped for the riflemen, thus increasing their firepower vastly. Mines going down for the engineers. Nice to see some mine usage. Of course, the Kettenkrad can't spot this. Of course, question is, will Lehritis actually discover this? Who knows? Bit of further Panzergrenadiers now converging on the center. Riflemen moving in. Lots of Browning automatic rifles. More mines by the engineers. Riflemen need to converge, perhaps fight from these good positions right there. Lots of heavy cover. That's a nice position to fight them from, but apparently no, just seizing territory. Oh dear, this is here we go. Major engagement. Panzergrenadiers attacking. Need to get his riflemen together to fight this. Panzergrenadiers flanking about. Oh dear, these riflemen are leaving their heavy cover. Oh dear, charging right at them. Suppressive fire on the Panzergrenadier team, forcing one back. In fact, forcing a full retreat. Good usage of suppressive fire. That's certainly nice to see.
Attention, the enemy advances.
Seizing as much territory, and apparently forgetting some of his riflemen right in the center. Not good. Supply yard going up. And in the south, yes, indeed, Panzer Command and the armored car on the way. Not exactly hard to guess. And again, I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't again that most of the sort of games that get featuring Panzer Elite tend to revolve around into this. Or, let's say, devolve.
Our forward supply lines are broken.
And rather than getting the Kettenkrad taking a bit of fire and running away. Kettenkrad has in fact been repaired by Lehritis. Lehritis actually keeping good care of his Kettenkrads. That's actually a bit rarer to see amongst Panzer Elite players. A lot of them just tend to sort of waste them rather quickly, not bother repairing. And these engineers need to get out of there, getting completely shot up by now this blob of Panzergrenadiers. Oh, Lehritis, I know you're aggressive, I know you got all the other things sorted out, but could you please not blob in the future if you decide to send in further games? It's just sad to see. And of course, if for some reason Mikeratty could decide to finish his supply out for starters, but also get perhaps a bright spark and get a heavy machine gun, he could actually quickly turn things against you with a heavy machine gun, of course, suppress the whole lot. But the armored car is ready. Sonderkraftfahrzeug. Auto cannon and all. Marching towards the west. And catching that jeep apparently. Jeep taking quite a bit of damage. Riflemen trying to do their best to take some territory. But the armored car is certainly going to be a bit of a problem. Apparently the jeep decides not to focus it down. And there we go. Hordes of Panzergrenadiers attacking. Riflemen getting torn apart. Full retreat. No anti-tank assets, but there we go. Finally the supply out is bloody well up. Riflemen getting absolutely massacred. Browning automatic rifle left behind. Jeep trying to get away. And pretty much all of the Lehritis forces are in the west. Some making a hasty retreat, and there we go, motor pool going up. Riflemen reinforcing, certainly taking quite a beating. Jeep going after the Kettenkrad. Will the Jeep succeed in its task of delivering Kettenkrad doom? And the other one's continuing harassing. I mean, really good harassment from Lehritis, really keeping up the pressure, and of course ensuring that Mikeratty doesn't really get much time to catch a breather and consolidate. So that is what we like to see. What we don't like to see is blobbing like Lehritis is doing. It's again not entirely exciting, and of course could be used against him if Mikeratty would sort of consider the idea. Mine hits. Armored car crashing right into a mine, destroyed. Engine not looking too well.
Front lines are collapsing.
And it does manage to knock out that Jeep. Riflemen not entirely sure what they're doing, or at least trying to achieve. And looks like they could, yes indeed, opening up on the armored car. The armored car not quite suited to resist the firepower of the Browning automatic and the other rifles. Could in fact be going up in flames any minute now. Panzergrenadiers advancing now with Browning automatic rifles themselves. Riflemen getting shot up, but they're quite determined on knocking out that armored car. Getting veterancy, but it is out of control too late. And these riflemen need to get out of there. Armored car is lost. Riflemen moving in, flanking. They could be taking up cover behind the armored car. Use that against the Panzergrenadiers right there. But no, apparently not. Panzergrenadiers taking up position here. Another Browning automatic left behind. Riflemen going in after the Kettenkrad. Mikeratty being under rather a bit of pressure, having gone infantry doctrine. We are seeing armored cars now on the way. Riflemen getting reinforced again. Need to get moving quickly. Perhaps, you know, it might be an idea. And this is what I actually do myself. This is a bit of a trick, you know. They can, of course, reinforce other places than just right in front of the headquarters. So, you know, tending to just move them along even to just the edge of your base can actually help you a bit. So you actually can much quicker get them out on the field once the fighting begins. At least that's my thoughts on the subject. Plus, it also helps in case of, you know, artillery on the base. They tend to aim straight for the headquarters, and of course if you move them elsewhere, they're not going to get hit. Armored car on the way though, lots of munitions. Well, of course, yes, there we go. Armored skirts and 50 caliber machine gun on the way. Another armored car has arrived. Panzergrenadiers hiding in the barn. No flamethrowers for the Americans. Actually, that's a bit interesting. I don't think there's any grenades either, but the armored car is on the move. Armored car marches right forward. And the Greyhound moves in. Will it get its prey? Yes, there we go. Quite a bit of damage already to this armored car. Damaged engine. And out of control. Another armored car lost. Remember, armored cars are not tanks, in particular not the Panzer Elite armored cars. Sadly, some people seem to think they're that, and of course tend to lose pretty gravely due to that. And the armored car now opening up on the Panzergrenadiers. I do believe a Panzer support command is going up, so we'll probably be seeing anti-tank half-tracks. And again reinforcing once more, hoping to press up to all sides to take some territory away from the 116th Panzer Division, while the 5th Infantry does its best. Panzergrenadiers taking quite a bit of damage. No attempt at using cover, for example. Perhaps this fence would have been a nice maneuver. Instead, running straight out into the open against all of these Panzergrenadiers. That's not how you do it. Again, remember to always use cover, even when attacking. It really makes a difference. Panzergrenadiers, though, taking quite some losses themselves, though probably not as heavy as the Americans. But again, that could probably got a lot easier for the Americans had he actually bothered to use that bit of cover right there. You know, not charging right out in the open. Standing out in front of them, saying, hey, shoot me. half-track on the way. Riflemen might go for this point right away so they can do a bit of taking away from the Panzer Elite, perhaps denying them this fuel point. Keep up the pressure, mate. Armor car moving in for the last Panzergrenadier team behind enemy lines, forcing it away. Light anti-tank half-track ready. Leichter Schützenpanzerwagen. Note the tiny anti-tank on his ass, actually designated as a platoon leader vehicle. Yes, indeed. That was actually how the platoon command vehicle actually looked. It had a tiny anti-tank gun. It wasn't really there specifically to knock out other vehicles, basically there to provide a small cannon to really help with slightly more dark infantry, as the 37mm gun could also, you know, fire high explosive shells. So there you go. Panzergrenadiers advancing, anti-tank half-track, slightly following up, might hope to fire off some rounds that could knock out an immobilized armored car. Half-track moving in, opening up with its quad mount anti-aircraft guns, and the armored car gets immobilized. Riflemen advancing, and lots of Panzergrenadiers getting suppressed, lots of machine gun fire, bet 22 for this armored car, my goodness. And these troops could be quickly moving in to provide, you know, support. And this light anti-tank half-track is in a bit of trouble. Riflemen on the hunt. And this light anti-tank half-track might in fact not make it. But the armored car moves in, hoping to get the final kill. Damaged engine on the light anti-tank half-track. Still no attempt at actually moving in these troops to repair this armored car. This should be done lickety split. And of course also these other troops. Oh dear, he's getting a bit too caught up in micromanagement. He's forgetting the rest of the fight. That's less fortunate. Immobilized anti-aircraft half-track. Taking quite a bit of time to reload. Oh dear. And anti-tank grenades on the half-track, knocking out both in the end. And the Greyhound is still... Oh dear, he's not done anything with the rest. Oh dear. And now these riflemen will have to try and hold everything back as Panzergrenadiers getting ready to launch another assault on this highly damaged M8. Engine is pretty much but a dream at this stage. And he's been much too slow in actually getting any troops moving. Of course, he could call in some Rangers, get some submachine guns for them. That would prove to be quite a deterrent for any Panzergrenadiers. You know, Rangers, submachine guns, not riflemen being shot up on their own. And there we go, 50 count machine guns suppressing, or perhaps it's just a suppressive fire from the riflemen. Engineers moving in, but it is simply too late. They should have moved in a lot earlier. Much, much too late. And there we go, anti-tank grenade. M8 is no more. It was, but no longer is. And again, had Mr. Mikeratty just decided to move out a bit quicker, he could have easily saved it. Another anti-tank half-track getting ready. And doing a bit of harassment right there. Nice job from Mikeratty, in fact. And I do believe it's time for the mid-game analysis. And of course, the current situation is rather a lot of territory in the hands of the Americans. So he has taken quite a bit of losses. Armored car and half-track out the window. Panzergrenadier commander, though, is bleeding, but he's probably still doing better. He has more units overall. Though, of course, he will need to fight back. Yeah, at the same time, of course, he just delivers a few good blows. He can actually do quite a bit of damage to the Americans, who are currently a bit too spread out at this stage. And, of course, in dire need of something to handle things. Supply and upgrade, good, but get some Rangers, perhaps some submachine guns to really make it a lot more dangerous for those Panzergrenadiers who just charge forwards across open ground. And from Lehritis, well, you know, it would still be nice to see something else than just blobbing up Panzergrenadiers. Again, that's also what's allowing the American commanders to basically seize everything on the map, because all of his troops, all of his forces are basically just in one small secluded part, which rather leaves the rest open for business, or well, open for takeover. And of course, don't just throw in armored cars, but again, perhaps some anti-tank half-tracks, perhaps a tank, you know, a Panzer IV support or a Hotchkiss, and perhaps something else we'll of course have to see, but still something, you know, a bit more focused, yet at the same time also, you know, a bit more spread out so you don't get penned in. Let's return to the fight to see what happens. Still no Rangers, despite the fact that he has them. Kettenkrad getting shot up. This is in fact the only Kettenkrad alive. The other one did get knocked out after long, courageous service. Another armored car on the way, it seems like, but no Rangers. I still think those could help with the submachine guns. Panzergrenadiers advancing, riflemen not trying to take up position right here. No, again, thus denying the Panzergrenadiers any cover as they try to charge across the open ground. No, not even trying to use a building. Wait, there we go. And Panzergrenadiers quickly pulling back, rather realizing this is a silly place to be in. Apparently getting into both buildings, hoping to create some sort of kill zone. What is he doing? Mikeratty, be careful. No, he's not getting into the house. The Panzergrenadiers are in fact going to get into the house. Oh dear. Assaults from all sides. Who will win this? Charging right into automatic fire. Assault rifles ready, and the riflemen are simply getting slaughtered. I mean, they should have gone into the building. Not. Oh.
Enemy unit taken.
Rifleman team is lost. Quite tragic.
We're losing ground out there.
Quite heavy losses. What probably could have been avoided had he just bothered to get into that house. Armored car moving in. Getting upgraded. 50 caliber. Armored skirts. Still no Rangers. Floating quite a bit of manpower. And Panzergrenadiers under fire from the armored car. Anti-tank half-track. Hiding in the base, but now perhaps on the prowl. Still not a single Ranger to be seen. He's floating quite a bit of manpower, quite a bit of everything else. I'm not entirely keen on that. In particular, since it's a bit hard to actually judge what he's actually going for. Panzergrenadier team up was apparently forgotten, and the M8 knocked it out in cold blood.
A fuel point is being seized.
Mines being laid down everywhere by Mikeratty. Still not really any proper usage of resources, sadly. Not even a medic station. Oh, that could actually help, but still at least good to see supply yard upgrade. And there we go, finally getting those damn Rangers. Now he just needs the submachine guns, and they'll certainly be able to deal with those Panzergrenadiers in a much more stable fashion. Panzergrenadiers charging through the center. Vengeance in their minds, lots of assault rifles. Armored car moving about. Will they put a stop to those Panzergrenadiers? No, it's in fact going to let them charge right at the... And there we go, a mine set off, one down. Focus, attack, angreifen. And these riflemen could easily get closer. Lots of riflemen moving in from all angles. Panzergrenadiers out in the open. Why is the M8 not moving in on alert earlier? Really need to get a bit more sure on converging on such threats. Bazooka rockets flying. The Panzergrenadiers are trying to get away. Rifleman M8, everything going down on them. The Panzergrenadiers need to retreat. An absolutely horrific venture by the Panzer Elite commander. Lehritis forces were forced away. Quite a bit of overwhelming firepower here in the center. The M8 also bringing a bit of threat. Kettenkraut moves too close. Mines being laid down by Mikeratty. Kettenkraut, of course, spotting them all. Another Kettenkraut moving about here, getting fresh replacement Kettenkrauts. That's nice to see. Panzer Support Command upgrade moving in. Hooray! And quite a few command points, but no usage for them as of yet. No Luftwaffe, no Tank Destroyer, no Scorched Earth. And of course, all those three could offer him something interesting. Perhaps a hitzer from the Tank Destroyer, perhaps, I don't know, something to deny points like booby traps and Scorched Earth tactics, I suppose, you know, disabling them, or perhaps Luftwaffe troops or Fallschirmjäger sort of Wirbelwind. Kettenkraut knocked out. Anti-tank half-tracks on the move. He has to be a bit careful, and there we go. Armored car, oh dear, getting torn to bits.
The enemy will never be able to match the efficiency of our support command.
Riflemen moving in. Rangers. Where are the Rangers? Apparently farthest away to help, actually. Nice ambush right there by the forces of Lehritis and the 116th Panzer Division. Tank depot going up for Mikeratty, and Rifleman getting caught out in the open, rather overwhelmed. Need to converge his forces, but why is he leaving two troops over there, which probably could be doing a lot of things? I mean, there's no reason to clump up troops near points. They don't take faster, and of course, if you're at least going to do it, you know, put up some sandbags and, you know, try to cover each other, but apparently not. Instead, he's actually spreading out his troops rather than trying to put up a solidified and concerted defense. Artillery getting caught in on the Panzergrenadiers, but of course, they just keep moving. Increased squad sizes, even thus increasing the amount of assault rifles getting ready. Riflemen getting shot up on retreat. It seems like Mr. Mikeratty is a bit unsure of what actually to do in the face of this. and is in fact just feeding the Panzergrenadiers piecemeal. That is not good. I do wonder what he might be getting right here. Of course, he does seem to have the resources for his Sherman tank. Of course, question is, will he be going for that, or will he be going for something else? He doesn't even finish the tank depot. Oh, he does seem to have a nasty habit of forgetting that. Kettenkrad on the move. Anti-tank half-tracks in the base, not getting repaired. Riflemen and Rangers moving about here. No submachine guns for the Rangers. Lots of Panzergrenadiers charging ahead. No suppressive fire from the BARs. That could at least help with those Panzergrenadiers at the front, but no. Instead, of course, they just allow the Panzergrenadiers to get close and, of course, keep moving about. I mean, that's also another problem. You don't want to be moving about like that. Of course, as troops move backwards, of course, which pull back, they can't really fire backwards at the enemy. That's something important to note. And now the other troops are getting fed into this nightmare of firepower and forced retreat as well. That didn't really go well, now did it? Tank depot still not up. No idea why he didn't finish that. Could have gotten himself a Sherman. Really pulled a surprise on Mr. Lehritis. And there we go. Finally done. Finally flashing. And what will be coming out? A crocodile. I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea at all. I mean, a regular Sherman would do more. Would be able to deal with those anti-tank half-tracks, elite survive frontal shots. And of course do some nasty damage to these clumped up Panzergrenadiers. For some reason the flamethrower is actually pretty inaccurate, and in most cases doesn't really do much. Sadly, but lots of American infantry getting reinforced. Still no submachine guns for the Rangers again. That really could help them. But you know, there we go. Tragic, isn't it? And disabling even point sneaky that. Going for this point as well. Of course, that means he's gone for the Scorched Earth Doctrine. And also means that he clearly has in mind to actually disable this point as well, thus cutting off the American from any of his resources there. Very nasty that. And there we go. Point disabled. Lots of Americans charging ahead right across open ground. No suppressive fire, not even a grenade. I mean, against clumped up Panzergrenadiers, another great thing is, of course, grenades. And instead, it's incendiary grenades from Lehritis. I mean, I can't really help but feel that at this stage, Mr. Mikeratty is doing everything wrong when you can, you know, to actually stop a Panzergrenadier horde like this. I mean, grenades could be helpful, you know, disperse it, make it easier, suppressive fire, or, you know, just a simple heavy machine gun. And, of course, a flamethrower tank is not entirely the best. Again, there seems to be something odd with flamethrower half-tracks and tanks that make them a lot less accurate, which actually means they're not very useful, at least in my opinion. But flamethrower tank advancing. Fire in its mind, crewed by pyromaniacs from Chicago. Who knows? But advancing certainly. Panzergrenadiers, some catching on fire in fact. Anti-tank half-track advancing. Panzer 4 ready. Damaged engine. Immobilized. Lots of riflemen, lots of Rangers, lots of everything. Anti-tank half-track almost knocked out. No, they're... oh dear, they... don't deal with the Panzergrenadiers flanking in. Oh dear, this is a pretty huge gap in priorities. Focus on the Panzergrenadiers, showing up your infantry out in the open. Interesting enough, there's no focus fire from the light anti-tank half-tank. Quite a lot of manpower and fuel being floated. Ridiculous. And standing right out in the open versus a tank. At this stage, it seems like just things are falling apart from Mikeratty. Tragically.
We've completed the upgrades, Commander.
And no resources really being expended at Lehritis. No upgrades, no anything, no new buildings. I mean, he's got a ridiculous amount of resources. He might as well use them, put on the last bit of pressure. Crocodile getting shot up. Let's see how long this takes. Then, of course, the Panzer IV can't really penetrate that armor. And the Sherman armor just bounces it all off. Of course, the Panzer IV will just move up right behind it. And there we go, done. And finally also another assault move from our friend Mikeratty, now getting a tank destroyer. Again, I can't help but feel a tank might have done more against both the Panzergrenadiers and the infantry, trying to repair this disabled point. Hellcat moving in. Rodman getting shut up, unable to repair the point. Oh dear. Getting crowded away in the west, not really looking good. Things are falling apart like Mikeratty. Like something which is ratty. Oh dear, these engineers are not doing too well.
The enemy is weakening.
They tried to fight like their riflemen comrades with a Browning automatic rifle, but they didn't just do well enough. And of course trying to recover as many points as possible.
Ready to pass on order. The enemy is attacking a petrol depot.
And again, at this stage, it's not really much exciting, is it? Still no submachine guns for the Rangers. And the tank destroyer, of course, isn't very much of use against the Panzergrenadiers. And apparently there's now a Hummel on the field. Self-propelled Panzer with a 150mm howitzer, the heavy kind. There was also one with a lighter one, the Vesper, which was actually a bit more common, I believe. Marder 3 also moving about, not entirely sure what it's hoping to achieve. And there you go. Hellcat moving out, all flanking eastwards. I've been getting shot up, slaughtered, and all other sorts of nasty things. Marder 3 advancing to cover the central field, it looks like. Oh, so very fun. And the Marder 3 opens up on the Hellcat. The Hellcat's simply not close enough to do anything against that. 50 cal machine and an upgrade, which does help a bit against infantry, but otherwise just not enough. Lots of Panzergrenadiers charging against a few remaining riflemen. Rangers also moving in. Engine destroyed on the Hellcat. And the American forces are absolutely getting massacred, slaughtered. This is their last stand, and they are not standing very well. In fact, they're getting their legs shot off. More Rangers, more riflemen moving in. And the others are right in front of their eyes, getting slaughtered, killed, murdered, ended. And now Howitzer artillery moves in. And the Rangers do not survive it. Panzer 4 opening up on the riflemen, Rangers advancing. And a GG from Mikeratty, rather realizing he's beaten in the face of the 116th Panzer Division. He simply could not muster the force to break through. So, there you go, a 1 vs 1 on Langres with featuring the Panzer Elite, featuring a, well, not the most exciting strategy, but then again, it probably could have been more exciting had, you know, Mikeratty actually got something that could have perhaps helped more, you know, grenades. I mean, if you see a Panzer Elite player who's blowing up on grenadiers, get some grenades, and don't target the troops, but target right in front of them, you know, predict the path, so they run into that pineapple grenade. That's really something that can do incredible amounts of damage to your regular Panzer Elite player when he blows up like that. A heavy machine gun can also help, you know, he runs in, and then, oh dear, heavy machine gun, I'm buggered. And generally here, I mean, it seems like Mikeratty made some curious decisions, you know, flamethrower half-track rather than a regular tank. I mean, flamethrower tank, and, you know, bits like that. I mean, it was good to see the supply yard and the triage center, there were no medic stations. I mean, not all bad, but really he didn't go for the things that really would have helped primarily against Lehritis, and for Lehritis, well, try not to blow up as much as Panzergrenadiers. I mean, you will run into grenades and they will punish you. So there you go, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.